So good morning students. In this new video I am going to take another application of the Gauss theorem, that is to find electric field due to a uniformly charged thin spherical cell. What is thin spherical cell? Suppose a metallic sphere, hollow, given certain amount of charge. In this figure you can see this is a metallic sphere whose radius is capital R, given charge Q. So this is tendency of the charge given to the cell. It spreads uniformly over its surface area. Here you can see positive charge given to the cell is spread over its surface uniformly. Now as the charge given to the cell is positive, the electric lines of force move outward in the direction of the radius, in all the directions. Now what can be the surface charge density of this spherical cell? The total charge given to the cell Q divided by total surface area of the cell, that is 4 pi r square. So amount of charge in terms of surface charge density can be written as sigma multiplied by 4 pi r square. Now electric field due to this charged spherical cell can be obtained in three different positions. If the point of observation where electric field is to be determined is outside the surface of the cell. Suppose we have to find electric field at this point. Certainly this point is outside the spherical cell. It means if distance of this point of observation from the center of the cell is suppose is small r and radius of the cell is capital R. So for this case value of small r is going to be greater than the radius of the cell. It means point of observation is outside the surface of the spherical cell. Now consider a small surface area ds here. What is the flux passing through this surface ds? That can be d phi is equal to E into ds. Again cos 0 degree as direction of electric field as well as area vector to surface ds similar. So angle theta is 0 degree and cosine function is cos 0. So d phi is equal to E into ds. Now we can find what is the flux passing through this whole Gaussian surface. In this case the Gaussian surface is going to be a larger sphere of radius smaller. So flux passing through the Gaussian surface, if we integrate this equation, we can write integral d phi is equal to E integral ds. The Gaussian surface is a closed surface, so integral d phi, that is flux passing through the Gaussian surface, phi is equal to E multiplied by the total surface area of the larger sphere, and it's going to be 4 pi small r square. This is the flux passing through the larger sphere. Now you can see the total charge present on the surface of the spherical cell is lying inside the Gaussian surface. So here we can apply Gauss theorem. By Gauss theorem, what is the total flux passing through the larger sphere? That given as Q is equal, phi is equal to Q divided by epsilon naught. This is equation number 2. So both the equations are providing the flux passing through the larger sphere. So we can equate equation 1 and 2 and we can get E multiplied by 4 pi r square is equal to Q divided by epsilon naught. So what can be the value of electric field at this position? E is equal to Q divided by 4 pi small r square multiplied by epsilon. So here you can see this expression is quite similar to the expression of electric field if the whole charge given to the spherical cell is present at the center of the cell. If charge Q is present here, then also we are going to get the same expression for the electric field at distance small r from the point charge. So electric field at a point outside the spherical shell is very is equal to the electric field due to a point charge present at the spherical shell. Now if we replace value of Q in terms of surface charge density of the spherical shell, we can write Q is equal to sigma into 4 pi small r square divided by 4 pi capital R square divided by 4 pi small r square multiplied by epsilon naught. Here you can see 4 pi cancels out and electric field is going to be sigma multiplied by r square divided by small r square epsilon. From this expression you can see electric field at a point outside the spherical shell is inversely proportional to 1 by inversely proportional to r square. And this is the nature of the electric field due to a point charge. If there is a point charge Q present somewhere, its electric field is inversely proportional to r square. Students, now what can be the value of electric field at a point on the surface of the spherical shell? Suppose this point is moved to the surface of the spherical shell. Means we have to find electric field on the surface of the spherical shell. It means distance from the center of the spherical shell small r becomes equal to the radius of the shell. This is second case. Now in the previous case we have seen the electric field at distance small r from the center of the spherical shell E is equal to sigma multiplied by capital R square divided by small r square into epsilon naught. Now small r is equal to capital R. What it means? Electric field on the surface of the spherical shell sigma into capital R square divided by capital R square into epsilon. So these two cancel out. So electric field on the surface of the spherical shell is sigma divided by epsilon. Here in the expression you can see electric field on the surface of the spherical shell is a constant quantity. Epsilon naught is permittivity of the medium and sigma amount of charge given to the spherical shell and its surface area. If these two are remaining constant, the electric field on the surface is going to be maximum. So this electric field is maximum electric field, that is on the surface of the spherical shell charge due to charge given to the shell. So students, this is case 3. What can be the value of electric field at a point inside the spherical shell? It means it started from outside the spherical shell, we moved to the surface of the spherical shell, now we are moving inside the spherical shell. This is center of the spherical shell and radius of the spherical shell capital R. And now small r is less than capital R. Means point where electric field is to be determined is inside the shell. Now you can see if we take this Gaussian surface inside the spherical shell here, the radius of this Gaussian surface is small r, and the entire charge given to the spherical shell is spread over its surface. But you can see there is no charge present inside the spherical shell. In the interior part of the spherical shell, charge q is equal to 0. So what is the amount of flux passing through this Gaussian surface dotted line inside the cell? The flux passing through the Gaussian surface going to be 0 in the absence of any charge in this interior part, and that is why electric field is equal to 0. So electric field at any point inside the spherical cell going to remain 0. So students, we have seen in this discussion, if there is a charged spherical cell, the electric field at a point outside the cell is inversely proportional to r square. When we move on the surface of the spherical cell, E is equal to sigma divided by epsilon naught, and it has maximum possible value of the intensity. This is second case. And case 3, in the interior of the spherical cell, electric field reduces to 0 or it remains 0. Students, sometimes question asked to show the variation of electric field with respect to distance from the center of the spherical cell. Here in this figure you can see at the center of the spherical cell electric field is remaining 0, and it remains 0 till we move to the surface of the cell. On the surface of the spherical cell, electric field is maximum, that is E is equal to sigma divided by epsilon naught. As we move outside the spherical cell, the electric field starts decreasing as E is proportional to 1 by r square. So this is the graphical representation of variation of electric field due to a charged thin spherical cell.